Well, I'm just staggered. You think you do a good job on that. I think if you now we're going into this sort of thing, that you probably weren't balanced enough. And
right.
I think I've interviewed everybody on this besides BBC, and you know,
Paul,
and I think we've given as much as we can to the subject. I mean, how I feel about it is it's more of a problems, you know, with management, isn't it? You and me, not you and me, but you know.
What you do on your channel is fantastic. I am an enormous admirer of you. I scroll down what you do and I wonder, how do you get so much amazing material up there? This is not a criticism of your energy and your devotion. There's no one else on the Isle of Man who can approach what you're doing. But your particular gripe is, and has been for years, against Manx Radio, and everything in here is anti-Manx Radio, which is
because I've actually put information into it, which I was asked to do. They actually contacted me to say what I put thing is. You take the whole basis on my opinion from that, which is just giving my opinion. But giving my information on what I think could be improved. You don't take any criticism at all. You absolutely hate the idea that you are. And I'm talking about Manx Radio. Do anything wrong, you kind of don't like that at all, do you? You don't want criticism aired.
Look, criticism is aired against us all the time, mostly by people like you, two members of Tynwald, and then it all comes out in Tynwald.
And you don't think you do the same thing in your, you know, talking off the record?
Not on air, we don't.
No, you didn't say on air. You said, I'm just talking to members of Tynwald.
On air. You were doing
what, that one sentence? Well, I honestly can't tell you.
You didn't realise it.
Overall, though, I think I did quite a good job. If I'm so against you, don't you think most people now won't have a clue about this? This was the first thing we've known about it, and I don't think I'm against. I mean, Manx Radio is where I started. I don't think I'm anti-Manx Radio at all. I maybe the policies.
Incredible statement.
No, because I'm maybe
page 305. Everybody, have a read of this in the report. It cost me 50 quid to get it printed off, but it's online, and see. I mean, you're perfectly entitled to your opinion. I don't mind that. I really don't. It's just
you don't see there's anything wrong with Manx Radio. That's probably I think more people might get.
I haven't said that at all. You are putting words in my mouth as usual. What I'm saying to you is, you used your platform to air your grievances.
So you said,
which is fine.
I don't think I did, but anyway.
Well, you did. Go and listen to it.
But it's only one sentence of a whole interview.
No, it was two sentences. That's about the fact that you didn't get any public service broadcasting money because you could do so much on your platform if you did. Well, you're obviously not listening to what you're saying, but if you look at it, you're entitled to your opinion, Paul. It's just that I'm pointing out the difference between an unregulated broadcaster and a regulated broadcaster.
And you think you have done it exactly right. You voiced all the different things. I mean, that group in London that came out against, on your behalf.
No, on public media's behalf.
Do you think it would have been responsible to have put in your report that Manx Radio was part of that group in the first place, and therefore, give it that sort of substance that people can make a balanced view on what you're saying?
Well, as it happens, the questions in Houses of Parliament, all the rest, were not in any way sponsored by us.
I didn't say that. I said that the thing that you put out...
You're implying that...
You should make it transparent and clear that you were part of that group that came up with it. Those are the sort of things I'm thinking that maybe you don't actually hit the nail on the head sometimes.
Well, OK, maybe we should. But the fact is we didn't lobby them because the BBC did a piece the night after the report came out, and that went viral in the UK, and alarm bells started to ring about the recommendations of the report. And all that's happened since has just happened without us doing anything. Yes, we've been lobbying MHKs, of course we have. And we did a presentation to Tynwald.
How do you think that went?
Well, somebody said to me, how do you think members should vote? And I recognised that as being a trap, and I pointed out what I would always have pointed out, that the members of Tynwald are there to vote themselves in the best interests of the Isle of Man. They heard a vigorous defence of the Select Committee report from the chairman, which I'd expect him to do. I thought Dr. Allinson was superb. And, Mr. Speaker, they were battling against this, and they spoke extremely well. At the end of the day, it's not up to me to tell people how to vote, it's up to the members. So how I thought it went, we just put our point of view. And as we've seen, the members put forward lots of different amendments, and the voting still isn't finished, so we have to wait till January to see how it goes.
Do you not feel that, back to the very beginning, I think that there's a willingness to support you? I can't be more fair than that. It's about the intro. I mean, you can't ask me, I've come up here to do a hatchet job on you. You try and do it on me. I understand. For some reason.
We're both getting it off our chest. You are immeasurably fair, Paul. There's no problem with that. Look, you used to be at Manx Radio when we had these debates before. Yeah. It was a typical Manx Radio debate. Lots of wonderful, supportive phrases and excellent speeches supporting us, which was very nice to hear, and one or two deeply critical of us, which is fine. And those criticisms we will most definitely take on board. But the criticism that we're not doing this, we're not doing that, is true. We accept it. But if you then take all the money away so we can't do it, we're hanging on by a thread up there at the moment because so many senior staff have left because they don't have any security of job. I don't want to say this too loudly, but we pay our gardeners here more than we pay some of our journalists. This is at Milltown. I mean,
how can the amount of money the top management gets? I mean, these massive salaries we hear about, and again, you'd know exactly because you're on the board. Yeah. Are you happy and comfortable with the amount of money you pay the top people?
Well, comfortable. I'm comfortable. I hope they are. It's about £40,000 or £50,000 less than a chief executive in any government department.
Not quite answering though. I mean, for the amount of the money in the Isle of Man.
Entirely happy.
Right.
If you want someone to take all this responsibility and spend years of their career defending continuously Manx Radio against Tynwald.
But there's only so much money in the pot, and of course, if it goes to the top people, there's less to be spent on the people on the coalface, right?
Well, that's true, yes, but...
So what, do you want more money? Is that what you're saying? You want more money to pay everyone a better salary?
Well, it would be nice, but we're not going to get that. We'd like the security that if people say to us, right, you're going to get this amount of money for the next 10 years, at least we know where we are. But constantly we are arguing with our supplier about the money. And what I wanted to see in Tynwald was a proper mechanism put in place that every other country must have to interface between Tynwald, who want value for money and accountability, and Manx Radio, who has to spend that money in the best way for the Manx people, but must have editorial independence. And what we're lacking, despite what you and I may think, what we're lacking is a proper mechanism. And that's what I was hoping for. So there we are.
Okay. I better point out now, just to make things clear, that you haven't actually... there was one request that maybe I did an interview on Manx Radio, but I said it should be live, and it wasn't taken up because 5 years ago when John Moss interviewed me, and that interview is on YouTube, he walked away saying, I can't put that out because the manager wouldn't like it. Is that really good thing to be for people to say?
Well, that's news to me. And
that's 5 years ago. That was the last report, right. And I put it's up there for the public to hear.
So you're saying you were critical in that interview, and John Moss wouldn't put it out?
When I questioned him, he cut it, and it'll show very clearly on the video on YouTube what bits he used, what he didn't. But he actually ended up by saying, "I can't use this. The management wouldn't like it."
So therefore, is this the person in this report you're referring to?
But my point is, you seem to be saying that you're doing a great job almost, and yet you don't want any criticism. It's clear you don't want criticising. I mean, shouldn't upset you. That's just my point. And why it upsets you so much, I'm really intrigued.
Because you have a position of power in that you have your own channel to air your grievances.
This could be on anybody could go out and just put something online, can't they?
Oh, yes, I know. Yeah. Yes, I know. Yeah. Well, there we are.
Where's it going to end? Back to this in January. What do you think is going to happen?
I've no idea, Paul. I am not going to second guess the members of Tynwald. I don't want to get too technical, but because the two branches, the Legco and the Keys, didn't agree, Mr. Baker said, I'd like a combined vote. And to do that, you have to wait a month. Now, whether anything will happen in the interim, I don't know. Christmas is coming. Who knows? Who knows? I really don't know. What we do want is some sort of resolution to this. And then, of course, Mr. Thomas has been instructed to go off to the BBC and see if he can get money from them. So we wait to see.